Hi, this is Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services and welcome to our Friday Business Finance Bulletin, a weekly roundup of finance-raising news and tips and techniques on helping you get that all-too-elusive yes from your bank. So what's been in the news this week? Well, for a change, a lot of good news. Heard that unemployment is on its way down, inflation is on its way down, confidence amongst business owners has never been so high. It's all good news. And certainly from our point of view, we've seen a noticeable upswing this January in business owners approaching us for help to raise finance in a whole range of industries. So it's clear that things are starting to pick up. So you've got to make sure that you're riding the crest of that wave as early as you can to plan ahead. Now, to help you get that finance, interesting to see in the news this week about the possibility of a new bank coming on the market. Two guys, one from ex-Barclays guy and another one ex-Aldermore, have got together and are in the process of applying for a new banking licence from the Financial Conduct Authority to set up a bank called Oak North. Now, they've already said that if the licence is approved, they're going to be looking to help grow SMEs by getting them the finance they need. They'll be looking to help with loans, anything from £20,000 up to £100,000, repayable over 10 years, and they'll also be offering a host of traditional banking products as well. They said that they can be combining the best of the old world way of banking, bank managers looking at applications, together with new online technology. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch, and keep an eye out for that. We've also started our latest round of seminars on workshops on access to finance for Business Wales. So we did Brecon this week, and we're doing Llanelli, Pembroke Dock and Cardigan in West Wales. And I did Brecon on Monday, and one interesting thing came out, still about the lack of awareness amongst business owners about crowdfunding and peer-to-peer lending. Very few people knew anything about it. And as we've said before in previous videos, this is a growing source of funding for business owners. You've got Funding Circle, Funding Night, Rebuilding Society, and the latest new kid on the block, Funding Empire, a great little business, South Wales based, so I'm taking a great interest in that one. And in fact, there's a couple of loans listed on Funding Empire at the moment. And you may want to become a lender. Support your fellow business colleagues. Just have a look on that site. You can put anything from £20, £50, £100, whatever it may be. It's the same with all of those sites. They're looking for individual investors like you to try and support growing businesses. So just check all these sites out to make sure that you're tapping into all the available sources of finance that you can. Now, the government itself this week has been criticised by the Public Account Committee. This Public Committee has been looking at the kind of return that the government has been getting on the money it's invested in the Funding for Lending scheme and the Enterprise Finance Guarantee scheme. And the committee reckon that the government have not been getting value for money because these schemes were all designed to boost lending, and lending's been going the other way. Well, if you remember in the last video or so, we've been looking at those numbers, and in fact, lending is beginning to increase, but business owners are obviously paying back more than they are borrowing. But there is an underlying issue there that banks need to get more money out into the economy. And in particular, the Enterprise Finance Guarantee Scheme, which we've talked about before. If you've got a credible business and one that's obviously profitable, but the bank are not looking to support because of lack of security, then the Enterprise Finance Guarantee Scheme is for you. But the bank may not be that upfront about mentioning it. So you have to specifically say, I'm interested in the EFG. And here's a quick link below just to point you in the right direction on how you can get more information on that. So what's my tip for you this week? Well, last week I took a visit to a business that's growing quite rapidly. And they're quite fortunate they've not had to borrow any money. And so they're very much in the mentality that they pay for everything in cash. Now that's great in one way, there's nothing better than being debt-free. But for a growing business, you've got to make sure that you've got sufficient cash in order to fund that growth. Growth comes with two problems. You've got to fund debtors if you're selling on credit, and you've also got to fund stock in order to manufacture and change it. But of course, you can be out of the money because people want payment for stock up front, or they may be on credit terms, which means that you're out of the money because you're not getting your money in from debtors quick enough. Now, whilst this business technically was able to write a check out for the piece of machinery that they were currently buying, after going through the numbers with them, kind of made them realise that it may not be a bad thing just to diversify the funding, and in this case, take a look at an asset finance facility in order to purchase the machine, in order to preserve cash. Because get this, in times of growth, it's cash that's going to keep you going. It's not profit. Ultimately, it's all about cash. So if you're planning for growth, take a long, hard look. You may be having a good pot of cash there, but it may not necessarily be too wise to go spending it all. You have to keep something in reserve and then look at those alternative sources of finance, particularly asset finance if it's for machinery purchase. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much. I look forward to being with you again next Friday to share some more tips with you on getting that business finance that you need. Have a great and profitable week. I'll see you next Friday.